Welcome back. Now we answer questions we've received from you, our viewers. If you have a question, visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. Dr. Shabir, the question is, do Muslim men and women pray differently?
Yes and no. Mostly yes. Men and women are given the same obligations to pray 5 times per day, and the Friday prayer is said to be in classical Islamic books to be an obligation for men, whereas women can pray on their own wherever they happen to be, either home or in the office or whatever. But men are obligated to attend the Friday prayer. Also, we can add that the daily congregational prayers is thought by some to be obligatory for men to join, whereas women, again, could pray at home or in the office, or they can come and join the congregational prayer if they choose to do so as well. So far, even Stephen, right? But when it comes to the postures within prayers, our prayers involve standing, bowing, prostrating, and so on. And all of the things that we recite are the same between men and women. So the prayer is basically the same. But the postures that we adopt in prayer the postures have been interpreted differently, especially in one school of Islamic jurisprudence known as the Hanafi school. This happens to be one of the widest spread schools in Islamic history. And today we have Muslims from India, Pakistan, in Guyana, where I was born, in many parts of the world who are adherents to that particular school of Islamic jurisprudence. This is a line of interpretation dealing with very minor and finer points of difference as compared with the other schools. So some things are very clear in the Quran, very clear in the life example of the Prophet, peace be upon him. So this is universal among all Muslims. Some things are not so clear. They depend on some interpretations, especially finer points. So major schools of Islamic jurisprudence emerge, giving us the details of these finer points. So one of those schools is the Hanafi school. Now, the Hanafi school says that, the women pray differently, adopting some postures in prayer, which will be more in line with the modesty of Muslim women, especially in traditional social contexts. So, for example, instead of bending over fully as men do, they would bend over like in both genuflection and prostration in a way that maintains that modesty. So instead of bending over fully in genuflection as men would do, a woman would be required to, according to that school of interpretation, only to bend over so much as would allow her palms to rest on her knees. And then to facilitate that even further, the woman would even bend her knees a little bit. And then when it comes to prostrating on the floor, instead of going all together on all fours, with the rear end being raised, the woman would basically just bend over enough so that her chest would rest against her thighs and her head would reach the floor. But basically, her body would be quite, close to the ground. Mm-hmm. So these and other such prescriptions on minor points were thought to be a way of preserving the modesty of Muslim women, and could come in very useful, of course, if a woman were praying in public, as opposed to whether when she's praying at home or in her family setting or something like this. But some others object to this. Those who object to this would say that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is reported to have said, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli." Pray as you have seen me praying. And this is a general instruction for both men and women. And with that in mind, women do not have some leeway to pray differently. And they would see this idea that women can adopt slightly different postures in prayer as being a deviant idea. But we could not consider it a deviant idea, because this is an idea that is in one of the classical schools of Islamic jurisprudence and can be traced back to the reported opinions of very early savants in the Islamic tradition. So in a matter like this, Safia, we need to be flexible and balanced and fair in our judgment. We cannot just simply wipe away the interpretations of a particular classical school of Islamic jurisprudence. We need to find a way of accommodating and appreciating that view. And we can say that maybe when the Prophet, peace be upon him, gave the instruction, "Pray as you have seen me praying," It was not meant to be an instruction to copy him in all of the finer details. Some of the details may not be as important as people have made them out to be. And when he said, pray as you have seen me praying, maybe he meant the general outline. And of course, the general outline of the prayer is the same for men and women in all of these schools of Islamic interpretation. You have so many different postures in the prayer and in a particular sequence, and this is what you recite in each posture. And that is the same for men and women in all of these schools of Islamic interpretation. So basically, we can answer the question by saying, yeah, men and women pray the same way in the Islamic tradition. But of course, there are some salient differences on minor points.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe. And please donate to support our work at QuranSpeaks.com.